or Dante, or what is it, Homer, all the greats, Western. Although I have really, like I was talking to in class, I have a great hesitation in calling these people Western, because they're not. They're Greek or Italian.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't think in terms of West or East.
Mm-hmm.
Although Said argues, I think, in Orientalism, that Dante was forming some ideas about Asia or the Orient that would become the basis for Orientalism later.
Mm-hmm.
So, because of the struggle between the Moors, the Muslims, and Christians, which he represents. He represents the Muslims very negatively, in Divine Comedy. But then this happened, of course, on the other side too.
Mm-hmm.
Even the Sufi poets would, like the Conference of Birds, doesn't.
That was neat.
Yeah, but it does describe the Christians in a very negative fashion too. So you have, at the same time as you have this really powerful mystical, spiritual insights, it's also, marred, or it's got distortions because of power or because of certain prejudices about the enemy.
I think people just do what benefits themselves
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah.
Some people transcend that, but most people are like, yeah, I'm just gonna, do whatever benefits me and my homies the most.
So do you see writing as playing a very important part in your life in the future?
It would be cool if it did.
Yeah.
But I think everybody in college at one point has that, like, I'm gonna write an awesome something or other.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I still remember, like, in 6th grade, I started this story, and like that was still when they had like 386 computers, so like it was like that blue screen thing with the white text.
Oh yeah.
And that was good times. So like, that I actually wrote a lot. I wrote like 33 pages, and then I was like, this is shit, and I like deleted the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think everybody has like periods in their life where they're like, I want to write something amazing and change the world, or like, a cool like autobiography where I'm like awesome. But I don't know. If I could write something great, that would be awesome.
Mm.
But if I did write something, it would definitely be something to benefit. I don't know. I would want to write something that would benefit a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I know you're kind of thinking, and I think it's a really good time to think about exactly what your major is going to be, or what you really want to focus on in the future. But do you have any like dreams or ambitions about what you want to do after you finish college? Perhaps go to grad school. I know you said earlier that you were a little bit thinking twice about Asian studies, but what exactly would you like to do in the future?
Actually, I think I'd like to be a teacher eventually.
At the high school level or college level, or?
I like little kids, so like maybe elementary or middle school.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I don't know. I used to, in Maryland, I used to go around to different elementary schools and talk to kids about my disability.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, it was so fun and it was so rewarding. And when you walk in, they're like, but then like at the end they're like, oh, you're cool, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, I think that I could do a lot of good that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You can actually see the transformation take place within a very short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, often, people who've gone into the educational profession, it's told me that, you should get them when they're young, before they're molded with all the different, impacts that they get from TV or parents or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But is this something you always wanted to do, to be a teacher, or that particular experience of going to classrooms really, nailed it for you, that you wanted to be a teacher?
No, that even before I wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough to have some, cool teachers and early on, and I don't know. I think like elementary school is where I always felt the happiest. I'm still like 5 years old inside my head, really.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
My first and second and third grade were the happiest. I lived in Japan at the time.
Yeah. When did you come over here?
I came here when I was like 9 or 10.
Why'd you guys come back here?
Well, my father at the time living actually in Brazil. I think
Oh,
it
you
might have been the
mentioned
U.S.
that.
Yeah, I was born there, but my mother had to go back to Japan to take care of, to see, look after
Oh.
her dad, who was dying at the time. And we kind of ended up just living there for a few years. And my father wanted to call us, get us over to the U.S. where he was setting up a new church. So that's how I ended up in the West Coast. The
So
second,
how was that, being a priest kid? That must have been really interesting.
Yeah, it's just part of your life. Like, people talk about celebrating Christmas. I never really celebrated Christmas because, my parents were too busy with church work. There's Christmas events taking place. I don't think we even had a Christmas tree. And, I never believed in Santa Claus. The Santa Claus wasn't even mentioned. I was growing up, right? I did believe in a lot of things, but Santa Claus wasn't one of them.
Wait, so your
Yeah.
dad was, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Your dad was a preacher, like a religious guy in Japan?
No, he was from Taiwan.
Well,
Yeah.
was he doing that while you guys were in Japan?
Yeah. Well,
Really?
because first we went to Brazil. Well, my mother and my father went to Brazil, where, she had me, and then, trying to cultivate a Taiwanese church community in Brazil, in Sao Paulo.
Are there a lot of Taiwanese in Brazil?
Not as many as Japanese, but there's some, people. A lot of people and the members of our church, interestingly enough, have moved to the U.S. since we left, because the economic conditions and conditions in general, social conditions in Brazil is quite bad. Middle class is even more scarce and diminished than it is here. So. And then, so my parents lived apart for a little bit when my mother had to go back to Japan to take care of her dad, as I mentioned. And we kind of regrouped, in the U.S. A few years later. That's how I ended up here.